Hi everyone, it's Myles Runham here. I'm Senior Analyst with Fosway Group, so I'm responsible for coverage of the digital learning segment with Fosway, amongst other HR and learning topics. I'm really excited today to be joined by Rob MacAllister, who's the Customer Success Director with Valamis. We're talking through a number of themes today and sort of set up for some other activity as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about how the value proposition for learning and development and learning functions is shifting and needs to shift. We'll talk a little bit as well about the skills imperative, almost as an example of that shift, and talk a little bit then about the capabilities and the skills that learning functions need to adopt. A lot of this theme is around the use of evidence, intelligence, and data, which is one of the, sort of the foundation principles for Valamis. So anyway, before I go on too long, I'll introduce Rob. So Rob, do you want to say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself and about your role at Valamis?
Thanks, Myles. Hi, everyone. As Myles mentioned, my name is Rob MacAllister. I'm based in London, and I'm our Customer Success Director at Valamis. What that means for our customers is I own the post-sales experience in terms of making sure that our customers maximise their usage of the platform. But most importantly, we understand the desired outcomes that our customers have when using our platform, and we do everything we possibly can to achieve those outcomes. That could be something very foundational, such as compliance, but it could be also something incredibly ambitious, such as going through a very large reskilling experience within an organisation. So we're a global team. The team is packed full of educational experience, benefiting from the wonderful Finnish educational system, means that we have lots of very well qualified educational designers with very strong backgrounds, which means that we try to partner with our customers and make sure that we are continually challenging our customers to make the most of Valamis, but also the ongoing trends and discussion points across the industry.
That's great. Thanks, Rob. You've already hit on a few themes, I guess, that we probably like to speak about today. I mean, there's a range of objectives and needs that learning and development functions and your customer groups are faced by. So from something, like you said, that might be more familiar, like compliance, through to a range of more strategic, like skills development, as an interesting example. So I suppose we can see that learning and development is being stretched, perhaps in a number of different directions. And that has certain implications. I get from Fosway's point of view, the research that we've done over the last number of years, but perhaps sort of more refreshed in the last 18 months, has shown in the broader HR world that there's a lot of, I guess, additional pressure, you might call it, or there's sources of disruption for businesses. I think we've seen, and it's quite easy to get quite dramatic about it in a way, but seen of the impact of the pandemic, what that's done to working patterns, what that's done to people's sense of security, participation in the workplace, expectations, etc. There's been supply chain disruption. There's disruption even from sort of pricing impacts and inflation, armed conflict. It feels almost like a bewildering array of subjects and requirements that business are looking at, and then that in turn sort of arrives in the HR field as with these themes of strategic partnership, skills development, the broader themes of employee engagement. So learning and development is being asked as a function to participate perhaps in ways that it hadn't typically been, or to expand from some of those more familiar goals. And in Valamis's terms, has that changed the way that you work with your customers, some of those sort of broader strategic themes, or are the conversations similar but sort of reflected with perhaps a different context?
Well, I think one of the things that has definitely changed, which we've experienced at Valamis, is you mentioned conflict. We had 50 people located in Russia that we moved over into our Finnish office. Not all of them came, but that was a huge disruption to our business and challenge in terms of cultural integration. Luckily, our HQ in Joensuu is 50 miles from the Russian border, so it wasn't as if we were moving from Helsinki to St. Petersburg. But that, of course, internally made a large difference in terms of our workforce, in terms of how culturally people are immersed. And that happened before I joined the business, but I think I was very surprised and really kind of proud that the organisation had supported so many people to cross the border if they so wished. In terms of our customers, I think what we're starting to see, obviously in 2020, we had the remote work explosion. And I think from speaking to many organisations, they're still having to get their head around that. Different organisations or different sectors have very different strategies of the return to work policy, which I do find hilarious, return to office policy rather than work, because hopefully everyone's working at home. But I think that's something that, depending on the sector, is a really hot topic, but others it's not. We work with some organisations that are generally more software technology based, and they're very happy to have people work from home or work remotely for the majority of their week, and that changes the way that they're designing their learning. Classroom-based events, obviously in person, have really diminished in terms of the way that they procure content or even create content. The instructional designers have had to change their roles and their usage of the platform and become very, I guess, more au fait with an online platform rather than PowerPoint and being able to just put something together in the technology that you've used for a very long time. And I think the other thing that we're starting to see is people are coming to us and starting to try to navigate that skills conundrum a little bit more. So I think that's not necessarily due to many of the pandemic or obviously conflict, but in terms of technological prowess, I think there is a lot more understanding of the need or the want to move towards be a skills-based organisation rather than a role-based organisation. We have built the platform in collaboration, obviously, with many of our customers to start to embrace that a lot more as well. So we're starting to see, as a solution, we are becoming more skills obsessed and focused to support what our customers are asking for, on top of all of, like I say, the kind of mandatory compliance elements as well.